Germany's political parties have begun exploratory talks to form a new government that looks set to be a three-way coalition. Two of the smaller parties, the Greens and the pro-business FDP, have already held a first round of joint talks. Now, Greens leaders are meeting for their own inner-party talks to discuss the strategy for further negotiations.
Autumn colours in Berlin. Red, yellow and green, the shades of the parties sounding out a coalition. Red for the SPD, green for the Greens, and yellow for the pro-business FDP in a so-called traffic light coalition. Surveys say the majority of Germans favor that kind of alliance. Canan Bayram, from the Green Party's left wing, has serious reservations.
Climate protection won't happen on its own. How can we do that with a party that says the market will sort things out? I don't know. Maybe I'm not creative enough to imagine the compromises.
Green Party leaders are walking a fine line. The Greens and the Free Democrats are worlds apart politically. Tough compromises lie ahead that could be hard to sell to the base. We can create something new. Wake up, Germany. Something new can emerge from this. That's cool. If we go into the talks with this spirit, we can release new energy. That's what we want. In Berlin, many Greens have doubts about joining forces with the Liberals. But after 16 years in opposition, they're also eager to get back into the fray.
What motivates us is the desire to finally get things done. Our time as an opposition party is over. The base knows that we are now entering negotiations and we have to make compromises, but that doesn't mean we're selling out.
Now the Greens must decide which promises they could sacrifice. Canan Bayram is wary of paying too high a price.
I was elected to advocate on social issues, particularly on rents. We also need to bridge the gap between rich and poor. We need to pay special attention to these issues. But when I compare the party platforms, I just don't see how it could work with the FDP.
A traffic light alliance in Germany will demand a lot from all involved. But it could also come tumbling down, just like the autumn leaves do, eventually.
We're here with Cem Özdemir, a member of parliament for the Greens and former party leader. Mr. Özdemir, how optimistic are you about talks with the FDP being successful?
Well, it's first the Liberals, but we also have the Social Democrats and in a further round the Christian Democrats. I'm quite optimistic because this time everybody wants success, everybody is aware about the responsibility. We're the fourth largest economy. Other countries are looking at Germany, how fast we will build a new government. And I'm quite optimistic that we managed to have a government before Christmas.
And in terms of finding common ground, it might be more difficult with the Free Democrats than with the SPD, for example. What differences do you think might be a problem in finding agreement?
Of course, we have big differences, but on the other side, we also have some things that we have in common. We want to modernize the country. Germany is lacking behind regarding digitalization. They have a different approach vis-à-vis climate protection, but they also accept, that we have to do something and that Germany has to move ahead. So maybe we can find some common ground there as well. And on foreign policy, this is also very important vis-à-vis the Social Democrats. Both parties are against Nord Stream 2. Both parties have a more critical view vis-à-vis Mr. Putin. So that could be also some area where we could move together ahead.
And there's been some criticism of the fact that the Green team going into the negotiation is not diverse, is not very diverse. As someone like you with a migration background, what do you respond and how do you see this criticism?
Well, I don't criticize my party board. I was myself a party leader, and I promised myself when I one day hand over to the next leaders that I'm not going to be the guy who is criticizing them. So if I have to tell them anything, I do that directly, not vis-à-vis media. But trust me, the cabinet members will be much more diverse than this team. Trust me on that.
Cem Özdemir, many thanks.
Pleasure.
Joining us from the Greens Party conference in Berlin is our political correspondent, Julia Saldelli. Julia, are the Greens any closer to agreeing to a way forward?
Here at this party conference today, the Greens have approved the team that will go into the negotiations in the next few days and weeks. That's already an important step, and they have also defined the guiding principles of what they want to achieve. We've heard party co-leaders Annalena Baerbock and Robert Habeck say they do want to be a part of the next government, and they do want to put forward an important, ambitious plan to fight climate change. Now, they are aware that to end up in a government, they will have to find an agreement with the business-friendly FDP. This is something they're very much aware of, and they are ready to go into these talks and are positive about the outcome.
What about the overall political picture in Germany now? Where do things stand?
So at the moment, the Social Democrats, the center-left Social Democrats, who have come in first in the election, are sort of leading the talks and going ahead and talking to both the Greens and the FDP. And it seems like a majority of Germans are in favor of this kind of three-party solution for the next government. But the Conservatives, who have suffered an important loss in the election, who have come in second, still haven't really given up. They are also talking to the smaller kingmaker parties, and they'll be ready to come into play again if the coalition talks with the Social Democrats do end up failing.
All right, political correspondent Julia Saldelli speaking to us from the Greens Party conference in Berlin. Thanks very much.